Okay. Exercise. How are you driving this movement? So where does it come from when you do this? Feet. Feet to center. Yeah. So you remember yesterday this hip, knee and toe. Now it's aligned, but I can turn it. Right? So I can make sure that my hip is turning this direction. Yesterday we were correcting it when going this direction, but you can also go to the other side. While doing that from the ground up, you're kind of spiraling up, and that's how the movement starts. And on the other side, you can do it soft. In a soft way you can activate the spiral movement from the ground up. Maybe your mind is a bit up, or you use only the hip, or it's mainly arm. It's from the ground up, it's a good exercise, you can practice it. And don't strengthen, don't use a lot of strength and muscle, just activate it. It goes from the ground up and moves through the body. The upper body is totally relaxed because it's the relaxed. The black part with Alkmaar, that's moving, that's driving the movement, and the white part is just relaxed. I will explain it later at this moment, we can practice it now. So when we move forward, you always stay in the middle third, right? Does everybody know what I mean when I say move in the middle third? So before we do it, let's be a bit more aware about it. Another thing is, you use the 3 points on your foot, right? The heel with your big toe and the big toe itself. This line on the inside goes up to the inside of your leg, to the other side to this line. Right? So this is an important bridge. So when you stand in Hanmi, you feel this line, the 3 points on the foot there, 3 points on the foot there, and this inside line. And this is what you move in the middle third. So when you go forward and back, you can feel this feeling. So what happens, sometimes you're not on this line, but your weight goes over the line. So for example, if you go back and you go with your weight over that line, you feel what happens. You feel very weak in your knee, very weak structure. But push it, you will fall, it will break. So keep these inside lines, you use different muscles, these small muscles inside, not these big ones. And then to the front, to middle third. Middle third. 2 parts and back, and drive it from this inside, from your legs. So this is your reach. If you want to go forward, this is where you can come. If you go forward, don't stretch like this, but just move forward and stay in this middle third. Get this feeling. This is how we do these exercises. Another thing is your tanden stays level, so don't do this. It's very weak, right? So it's stable. You drop a little bit in your knee and it goes. the legs, and the feet, the legs and the hip. So when you do this, for example, and this one. From the legs. Will be activated a bit extra, so here we go. With this one, I'll also say something. Often people don't find it's not such an easy movement, but it's good to know what you're doing. It's the same like yesterday. You stand like this leg, and then you go to into it. It's basically what you do. You switch, step, and rotate. This rotation we were doing, right? At the same time you do like this. So your hand is here, and one hand is here. Step, and when this releases, then the arms go up, and then you do it. Yeah. So if we do it slowly, you can see the movement. So empty step, shift weight, release, and then into it. This. Turn around, step, shift weight, release. Then step, shift weight, release. Step, shift weight, release. Okay. So now we go in these directions. So we step right away, no this leg, other side, this direction, and this direction. Okay. So when you teach, when you want to explain about this, it's the feeling of when you become a Jokunuchi. And I do step, you come to a step, and this. And you can explain like that, this feeling. Since I did it often with the smallest person in the room, he was standing here, and then the biggest person to attack, and he was kind of sending the person into the other one. So keep your arms straight, so don't do like this, of course. So then when he comes, give a little bit idea how you can show it to people. Yeah? Maybe one last thing, it's not from Sensei, but from Reiki, and also I see Yuishinkai sometimes did it. When purifying a room and there's a new space, they go through all corners, they extend deep and clean it. And I always have the feeling when you do this, it's very similar. So when you do really extend T, and also with PI, H, so it's this side, Knee, and you kind of clean the whole room. And a very simple thing, sometimes you hear H, Knee, but in the end it will be H, like really it's open, everything's open. Let's do it all together, so we purify this room. We become this like a choir of men, but the women also are quite a strong key, like reach, knee, and everybody. You have to get used to it a little bit, because some like a reach, a strange sound, what's happening. It doesn't matter, we're all used to it, whatever sound comes out. It's a little bit similar to each other, that's okay. But really, from your tanden, H. Like also when counting for teachers in Japan, I don't know who was there when I had to be in front of the group, and he says you really have to extend to like shout through the wall. So this is when you're counting. It's not like each, and the whole group is like each, it's like each, everybody strong key. So you make sure the key is strong for your students. So now you're all the teacher. We have to be really extending through the wall in all directions, so purify everything. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 1 So maybe to start where we ended yesterday, maybe we can do it. That procedure, Kokinaga, step in and rotate and just let it happen. And maybe to add a little thing to make sure it's a natural movement. When you're at the top, just let your arm fall down. Hopefully not like that, but we'll see. So now he falls with gravity and I fall with gravity. Yes. Real situation, there will be no and also no mat moving in another direction. Right? And why would the mat not be moving in another direction?
Because the energy is going down.
Yes. The forces first it's not like this because it's anti-step shift weight. So there's no sound at all. And then you drop straight down or straight up. I know it's around movement, so there's some force to the outside. I know it's forward movement, but if you move forward and you do this, right, then a lot of energy is going in this direction. And why is it going in that direction? What is the force of it?
Not centered. Not centered.
Yeah, maybe so. But it's unbalanced.
And that's what
Yeah.
I mean. In the front
In the
foot more than
yeah.
the center.
You shift your weight, so you have the middle third, right? So from the back leg you drive to the middle, and then the front foot pulls it to the front. So this is how in this small part you lift up, and then you pull to the rest. And then there's no rest energy. There's no energy left to go this direction. But the mat shows there is energy going, it's left in this direction. So you're not doing this on the inside. So it's in a way you're unbalanced and you're falling. And that's also the sound, and this is the pushing. So let's not be like super, we cannot move, but I think Peter Kelly said in Iwama, some of you have been there, there's all pebbles in front of the shrine. Sometimes they practice there. So if you can imagine like a lot of pebbles and you start to slide to the forward with your feet. I think you do it only a few times. When you do the split a few times, then you're like, okay, I better keep my energy inside. Yeah? So we have similar situation now. It would be better if you put all pebbles here. Falling is a bit comfortable. But try to use that. So maybe if you stand up, just first the walking. This is the baby step weight, but okay, then you know. So you do empty step, that's the first one. How far do you do the empty step? Just as far as you can go while keeping your weight here. So don't make it too big. Some rather big steps die early, Sensei said. When we walk to Tokyo, some Westerners, oh yeah, they die early, those samurais, because they're unbalanced and they fall. So, empty step. Drive the weight, drive the back leg, so you go to the middle, and then use the front leg to pull it to the end of the middle third. So now my weight is to the front, and then I have an empty step. So, for example, from the one-line exercise, you put your foot like this, still in this position, not like this. Same, you go to the middle third. It's smaller, but still there's a middle third. You drive from the back leg to the front foot. Now the weight is in the front. Empty step, drive, weights in the front, drive. Same you can do back, drive to the back foot, empty step, drive. And always this inside line of the foot, right? And you feel it, if it's the inside line you put on the ground, it's stable. When it's not the inside line, a bit to the Like a small toe, you feel it's more shaky, you're not so stable. Inside leg, inside line of the foot. Yeah. Inside line of the foot gets the connection, drive it. Inside line, drive it. Inside line, drive. Other side. Same. Drop a little bit down, not go down, but just feel it, just drop a little bit so your weight can go like this. You've done that. One. It's really good exercise to improve this walking. Let's go back. When you make the one-line exercise of it, you will know it. Get into the side here. Come on. And inside of the center line, and between your center line and the center line of the other one. Drop your weight and then you go. Naturally, your eyes will be martial eyes. Just relax your upper body. Come back. You also have cat, so I always think about cat.
Every time.
Yeah. But then when there's the prey, you can launch. And you can launch from every moment. Wherever you are, back leg, go to the middle, front. Always an option, you're loaded to do something. So when you walk into a store, always an option to do something. If you fall, so I can launch, I fly, I catch myself. This flying moment I can launch because I fall. When I fall, it's difficult. When I'm like this, every moment I can do something. Control it. So it's good to do it together. So with two people, you know it, of course. You can use a line if you want. So there's some distance, and this distance stays the same. So when I go forward, it goes back the same. So this direction here. It's good practice for Luca to be really connected there, to feel what's going on. So I'm on the line, and my heel is on the line. And then we go back. He drives me now, I follow. You remember, like feeling, we talked about yesterday, so when I touch, I feel what's happening inside his body. He was now more stable. Same, without touching, you really start to feel what's going on in yourself, but when you're done with that, you're more expanded, you really feel what's going on. You feel every intention in the other one. And then you do the other side. So do this exercise. So you feel this, first this feeling, this consciousness, this your key of mind becomes really calm, right? And really clear, and really focused. Your body really stable, so it's a good way to work with. I do a little bit, I don't know if you can see it. Can you see this? I can make it smaller, maybe then you can. So 2 feet, 3 points, big toe, just before big toe and heel. This is a line, this is a line, and you can see this middle third. It's not only from this side, 1, 2, 3, but also from this side, from this point and to this point. 1, 2, 3. So this is the sweet spot here. Here's your center line. This is the only place you can go. So if you stand up, you have these 3 points. You can, it's a simple exercise, but it's quite helpful. So now I'm in the middle, and I go to the left. So to the left, to the end of the middle third. That's it. If I go over the middle third, feel what happens. Right? Get sensitive to this, because you do this all the time. That's why you're shifting mats. Right? But you don't notice it, because when it's fast, it's gone. But feel, okay, this is to the end. Oh, now I'm stable. Go a little bit over it, not stable enough. Of course I'll survive, no problem, but it's not stable. Other side, right, this is how far I can move from left to right. This is my reach. Forward, same. I can go forward to the edge of the middle third, and I can go backward. It's still okay. But if you go a little bit further backward, that's really obvious, because your feet are now in the in the worst position, so you'll fall down easily. This one you can catch maybe, but this is really hard to catch. Forward, go a little bit further. Right? So every time when you get the sugar from the kitchen on a higher place, right? But don't do it, just make sure you're closer. And just relax arm and get it. Right? When you get something, just be close. You stay in this middle third, and then in your Aikido, oh, when I do this, I stay here, I don't go here. How often does the center line go like this, and you're over the, all the time. So you can feel a little bit in this middle third, that's where you can be. Go over it if you are, that's the feeling, I don't want to be there. Your feet are always on the ground, because you have to touch these inside lines. You can do this yourself also. What do you mean? Your upper body is just resting on your body. Your head is above your chest, your rib cage, and that's above your hip. So you keep the 2 opposite forces, the heaven-earth connection easily. So now if you want to move further, your weight goes to one foot, you have an empty foot, and then you can shift. And then you start to move in any direction. Somewhere I never walk like this. Maybe even if you see you moving, it'll be like this. Do you remember it's the walking? Since it's a normal walking, theater. So if you go fast, go like this. We're jogging in the park. It's different. So this is how we're following Nagi. So maybe last thing about when I say this is the space, then sometimes I say, okay, go over the space and then see what happens. Then often what happens is this. A little bit further, what happens? Never do it. Why do you lose balance? People falling. They're falling and they're catching themselves. Oh, it goes further. Okay, I need some support. You know the big truck with a crane on it, and when it starts to reach, they do something, right? Yeah, and they're really stable. That's the feeling. So when I'm here, I need some help. Yes, okay. It's a feeling. It's my feeling. So try it. So it's okay to go to another position, but then just use the empty step. Make sure there's support. You never lose balance. Go to the side, to the front. Now relax your body. Now you get used to it and relax your mind because your mind is also stiff. You have the feeling now. So now you extend your hold somewhere and it starts to turn. Same feeling. Those guys see the same. You hit, turn, rotation. Feel that's balanced. Hit, turn, whatever you want to play with it. Okay, now let's see if that happens. So if you open that possibility. Happens when you get used to it and you get, of course the first few times you oh, there's something new, I practice, and then after a few times you sign up, just overrule everything and you do what you're used to, right? And then you try to be aware and try a new thing to reprogram yourself. Do you notice this process happening? It goes a little bit faster, you start to right? It asks a lot of attention to rewire yourself. So that's what we're doing. So speed is not the thing. Especially advanced people like, yeah, speed, fine, yeah. Flippy floppy Aikido is speed to calling. Keith Kelly calls that. Yeah, nice. Okay, we do seminar. Well, it's too simple to say, but you know what I mean. So better, slower, get it in your system, and then when it's in your system, it's easy to do it faster. And it's okay if you feel it, just allow it to be more natural, right? So faster, more natural. If you get used to it, but make sure that you're doing the thing that you're practicing. So now the end of the technique, let's do with Shomonichi. So if you come, wow, you're a bit nervous. But it's okay. One more time. Maybe something with middle. No. Now at the end, something is happening. I have to do something. But maybe if you come again here, now you're falling, but there's nothing happening. Right? I'm standing still, so you can be more comfortable, really stable. So nothing is happening. I can hang on him. So keep that stuff, it's where it's here. Like we did yesterday. So something has to happen here, it has to go down. It's good, please come. So don't forget that part. Sometimes I see people stop here and when it's really dynamic, he will fall, but it's a bit strange. It's like you throw the rock and it just keeps on going up. And when you see it, I think you will be quite scared. Right? Other time I use the wave example, right? When the wave comes, it goes up and it falls down. Can you imagine you're watching the sea and the wave goes up and it stays there? I think you will all be like, maybe you don't notice at first, but after some time, like, something strange is going on there, right? And it happens here, so especially from my perspective, I can see the waves of the ocean going, and you can see where it's not natural. It's like I'm watching the ocean, and you see natural movement. And sometimes we're stopping or falling, stopping the movement, and you notice, oh, this ocean is not really like the ocean I'm used to. So at the end, it has to go down. Switch to Yuka perspective. If I come to you, so I'm attacking, and you continue. Here, I'm still attacking to the center line from my balanced position. So if he does nothing, I can easily shift my weight, right, or do anything. So he has to go down to make sure that I feel, okay, we're going to like the end movement. And yeah, I feel you pulling me here, and this is going next to me, so there's a lot of space. So I can do a lot in that space. So I want to work with this moment when it goes down. And it asks quite a lot for Uke to be connected. So at one point, that you see often is this, and then here I withdraw my energy and I just fall back. And maybe at some time I regain myself, and then, oh yeah, there's a naga, and then I start to reconnect again. But I want to stay connected. When I'm here, when I'm going down, I'm always extending ki to the other one. I never lose this feeling. Right? You can see it really clearly if I do it slowly. When I'm going down, I'm still stable. I'm still stable. Make sure I'm not going to not be doing this. So at this moment, I cannot attack anymore. Right? At this moment, I can attack. I always be attacking the person, no matter what happens. So if you're up, you're in the end position, you're going down, and then at one point you start to go down and then you kind of slack. I'm still attacking, so I can easily overtake it, right? But if I'm falling, we were talking about it also, but this is from our perspective. So if you're up and this goes down, and you continue to go down, I cannot overtake it. It's possible for me, he keeps the center line, it's all closed. So that's one part of it. I see some space and I will go into that, but maybe too much if I do it all together. So for now, practice at the end, or go down, same speed together, keep the center line, or leave a little space. And then check as a Uke, are you still balanced? Are you still extending? To be able to, let's say, you go again. So you go down, you stop, I'm still stable. I can overtake to do konkudaishi. Yeah? It's just an exercise for a specific purpose, and the purpose was to extend ki as a movement, right? So you feel, maybe now you're more aware, like, oh, I feel there's a space, and then I take the initiative. That was the goal. what happened? Well, we were talking about it when you handed the apple to the other one, or the initiative, right? So I have initiative, but then I allow the other one. I leave on purpose. I leave the space, and I allow the other one to overtake it, and I change role. I become Uke. But what happened at the moment when you exchange this initiative? I said, I need the apple. Okay, you have the apple. Okay, you have the apple. Or are you fighting on the apple? Two people hold the apple.
Yeah,
I'm not going to give it. I leave some space, but I don't leave the space. I allow you to do it. I want to take the space. Does someone recognize this?
yeah.
It's not your fault. It's your brain, right? It's a reptile brain. It's so hard. It's a crocodile, right? But it's not needed. At one point, I was looking at you guys. When you allow the other one, you sit and you follow. It was just total harmony. It's okay. When I leave the space, I leave the space. It's not I leave the space. No, I don't leave the space secretly because I'm allowing it. It's like when you're talking. It's a strange situation because I talk more than you would.
No.
Except for you. Please talk a lot. It's good. So what? If I speak and I keep on speaking and I give you no space and I say, okay, you can ask questions. Oh, hold on, no, well, but another thing. It's like I don't give it. And it's good to be able to give it. I'm the teacher, I allow you to learn. But she touch it. One moment, he does something, boom, I'm beaten, I'm okay. I allow you to practice, you can have the initiative. That's really important to be able to do that. So if you attack me, I have initiative, I leave some space, he does something, then it's no problem for me. I can switch easily between the roles, Uke or Naga or initiative or follow. So and that's, you can feel the space, but to be able to act on it, it's also another thing. Because you're, hey, I saw straight out going. It's like when you're on the highway, you wanna, someone's already overtaking. So you see a space, you take it. It's kind of also the practice, I feel it. But to be able to take it, you have to be stable. You have to be able to launch. I see a space, so immediately I act. So if you're busy, your mind is somewhere else, or you're just flying a little bit in between. Oh, there's a space, oh, it's too late. Yeah, so all these things come together and to see it but don't respond yet. That could be a first thing, to really get a clear map of the weak points. And then my feeling when you say it, my heart says immediately, I want to support the other person to fill in all those holes so they are more balanced. That's my only goal.
Yeah.
That's what I feel immediately, you know.
So you start
I don't
with-
want to overtake it. That's
I
not,
give him a push with the hip. So
Yeah.
feel, oh, I'm off balance, something like that, you know. You don't take it over, but just
yeah.
let them know that that's the whole
Even not that, I will be so stable that they become more stable. I'll make sure that my stability is so strong that their holes will be filled by my stability. That's my whole feeling when I'm Uke. That's my only goal. And even this, I can do it too or overtake it, but it's not my natural reaction. Maybe it's me, maybe it's not Aikido way, because this overtaking is also part of it, and I really like it. But I think from my own stability as an Uke, I bring more, I transfer something to the other one. So it would be good to work on instead of saying, oh, you're unbalanced or pushing or overtaking, which are also good options. If you choose to teach this aspect of overtaking, do it. When you choose to just shift your own weight a little bit and then the other one follow, he knows enough sheep. That's my whole feeling when you're told it. If I see the map of the other one, my only wish is
yeah.
I have to be a better Uke so they become more stable without fighting them or overtaking or showing them off or teach them or just let me be better so you can be more stable. You know what I mean? And especially for advanced classes, that's really important. Sometimes we talk about it. How do you transfer something that you see in the other one. You can, we stop and then we talk, hey, you know, that one here, you do it, and then you have this talk in class, right? In Japan, we never talk in class, only move in class and quite dynamic all the time. So there is some transfer happening. Who practice with Motegi-san, he did a lot of transfer, and it was really hard, and no words. Really hard movement, really fast, no words. But at the end, you changed, right?
Yeah.
So from his way of moving, his being, all the principles he's activating, he's really working inside. In the beginning, I thought, wow, there's nothing, but he's really working inside on many things. And he's transferring that. That's how energy works. It's vibrating, so you will resonate. You recognize when you practice with a really experienced partner or a real beginner, you will have a different feeling. It will, you will also feel it probably. When you practice together, like, I remember it a lot. I don't know. And then when you work advanced, it just happens. Like, oh yeah. But then you go with someone who doesn't know. How was it? Right? So there's a transfer happening by this. The other one takes you to this level. So maybe I say it just to make you aware that it's my feeling. Like my only goal is this Misogi process. I want to be so stable and attacking always to your center line, so you get enough feedback. And yeah. We were looking at the physical part. That's really on the other edge of the spectrum, which is also great. I really enjoy that. So you can really physical what you're doing, so you kind of close it physically, like really hard, like tangible. But this is the other part, like your heart, your essence, the way you're interacting. I think that's really important in Aikido. So okay, this Esenguka you will continue. To look at the end, it's a bit different. That's why we had a good discussion. Like physically, it would not be the best. There's another way you can do that. Maybe you show it one time or two times. You show Lucy and you give me Naka like this really physical way. You show it. It's not hard, but just physically really well performed. Sure, yeah. He's already he's a good okay. You keep the space, you don't get opportunity, right? So be a less good Yuishinkai Buddha and just be physical and touch and feel very close. Yes. So he closes by the head, right on the neck. Yeah, thanks. Okay. It's a challenge, huh? So, if you stand up, I remember, and I think I have an old video on when I showed all the curriculum of the exams. And then Sensei did the Shomunuchi, if you're on. He did it like this, it goes down, and then it went up, and then you step in, right? So he was really showing this, and this was quite new for us because we're not used to that. Normally it's more like this, or it's more like, it was more like this, go down, or it was this, and then you step back. So it's quite physical, we have this connection. But then all of a sudden he came with this, turn around, you can see, and go up, and then step in, forward, right? It's really, I recognize nice enough from other styles, but then it changed again. So it's a really short moment, it came up and then it just disappeared and nobody talked about it. Only the video is still there, maybe, some video I made. But now he does it more like this, and that feels quite nice. So if I do this, it's up, like he is up, but the elbow is still here. I see often this elbow is disappearing. You see how much space I create. You just can move away and walk through it. This elbow is quite important in my structure. You've seen it before. So, for example, with this one, I said the elbow is here, right? Often it's the shoulder and the hand, but then you can easily hold the arm if you do this position. And it's this and this, and then you want to go down. It's difficult. But if this is relaxed, elbow weights on the side, it's connected to your hip, to your pelvis, and then everything goes down. Whoa, that's a whole different feeling. So it's the same at the end. I was playing with it here. My elbow is still here. Right, so here's not so much space. So if I go down, see? We're doing this. And it feels for Sensei like it's a pillow. It's a pillow. He walks in a pillow. Right? It's on the center line, and he just walks in a pillow. So what do you do when you continue moving forward? Yes, and then get to it. Right? So you walk with something soft, and then you take it. And his skin is also, his flesh is really soft. And also here's the soft gi, it's just one soft experience. Okay. And I'm not stupid to walk into it, because I remember his hand on my face clearly, like here. No, I have ki, I extend ki, so that's why you couldn't touch him. You tried, but he was always in his space, because his ki was extending, you were always safe. So you don't walk into it, but if you walk into it, it's quite safe, it's really soft. You will never be slammed in your face like this, seagull style, right? You come and you're flat. Honestly, I think it's really soft what he's doing, but because I think he's really good at this touch, so it's still soft, but it feels like a clothesline. I don't know, in wrestling. Someone knows the clothesline, and they come running in his hand. Yeah. So if you come, but it's close. I'm in a center line, in front of his face, in front of his face, in front of the chest. It's here. I'm not here, because if you do, when he walks around, here, this is my connection. And it's good. You're forcing yourself. You're good. This is the position. Here I have here, so like even this, just drop it down and go up already. And this one, so you go and walk. With the center line. I start already here. When you come, I already take the center line, you feel? I don't do like this. I push the center line. So why am I showing this? Not to have this end, this space at the end where the hook can overtake. So please try this. We were playing again, like you can drop with gravity. But the same as if I drop my body with gravity, same feeling. So we'll do I'm really connected. Can do anything. I'm not doing it. Just connected. Really nice feeling, because if I drop my hand, same feeling, like this feeling. This free fall, and then it goes to the ground. not stop, I think, so I have to stop. I have 2 more hours. Yes. Are you gonna